It is the most powerful games machine in the world. It has a new controller that offers a different gaming experience, and it promises next-generation versions of some of the most popular titles ever. It's Nintendo's Ultra 64, and it was unveiled last week at the Shoshinkai show in Tokyo, along with demos of 13 games in development. And here exclusively for the first time on TV, all 13 of them. Super Mario 64. The wee mustachioed guy goes all 3D on us. Super Mario Kart R. The top Super NES game now goes 4-player mental. Don't know what the R stands for though. Kirby Ball 64. He's still fat, he still looks like a balloon, but now he's all 3D texture map polygons. Wave Race 64 looking suspiciously like Wipeout. Pilot Wings 64. You may be noticing some kind of running theme in the titles here. Next up, Buggy Boogie, you've guessed it, 64. And amazingly, again, it doesn't have 64 in the title. Blast Dozer, Top Mechanical Buggy Action Ahoy. Shadows of the Empire provides the obligatory Star Wars tie-in for those of us who still think Mark Hamill's a well-adjusted human being. And GoldenEye, the GameCube version of the latest James Bond oeuvre, looking suspiciously like Virtua Cop. Body Harvest, no idea what this one's all about, but it involves a lovely wee man running around there, lots of big things chasing after him. Creator features great views of dinosaurs' bottoms. And Star Fox 64, the updated version of the Super NES Classic, which I never actually liked. Finally, the Ultra 64 version of possibly the greatest game ever, The Legend of Zelda, once again, 64. This Pamela Anderson of a console is due for release next spring with a target price of 200 quid. 4 controller ports come as standard on the machine, but perhaps the most interesting aspect of the hardware is the controller itself. An obvious innovation is the central 3D stick, which allows precision 360-degree movement. It also controls the speed of the character, both essential tools for negotiating the next generation of 3D games. And because it's all 3D, different views can be chosen by pressing any of the 4 yellow buttons. The controller is covered in fire buttons as well. Cheeky left ones, cheeky right ones, and downright saucy underneath ones. With gameplay as complex as this, it's no surprise the controller also features a memory card, which enables you to save game positions and customise controller settings. Little wonder then that much of the excitement surrounding the machine quite literally comes from the gaming possibilities offered by it. However, the excitement of seeing the machine for the first time was tempered by the fact there was only 2 demos that punters could actually play. Kirby Ball looked pretty ropey, but even though it was only 50% complete, Super Mario 64 showed all the hallmarks of being an instant classic. The opening screen gives some idea of what's in store, featuring a fully rendered Mario head that players can manipulate in real time. Ooh, hours of fun there, I'll bet. Games journalist Gus Swan was one of the lucky few to have a go.
Mario 64 is quite a departure from Mario games in terms of gameplay, just by the virtue of it being in 3D. But it's not so different that you won't recognise the style and movement and the type of actions you'd expect it to perform. The bit that caught everyone's imagination and really made people happy about the machine was the Bowser boss. Just the speed of the graphics and the ingenuity of the effect was really quite different to what we've seen before in a platform game. One of its most striking graphical effects is the ability to take objects, polygon objects, close to the player without them becoming pixelated and blocky, as many players will be familiar with on other platforms. The stage we saw at the game, it was said to be 50% complete, and that perhaps explained why the levels were more sparse. There wasn't any levels where you were panicked with the amount of enemies or terrible jumps that you had to overcome. The size of the game may be up to 150 stages, and from what we've played with them already, it looks as if it's going to be extremely playable. with lots of hidden features as you progress. So I don't have any doubts it'll be a great game.
So, after a year of leaving the next generation field open to Sony and Sega, the biggest video games company in the world is poised for a truly formidable comeback. Admittedly, the games themselves, costing 60 quid, are well behind schedule, but from what we've seen so far, it looks like when it finally arrives in April, the Ultra 64 will be quite smart as it has.